What is going on? It looks like the show The View has some competition. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am Dave, a 10-year intellectual property attorney dealing with everything from patents, copyrights, trade secrets, as well as trademarks. Shout out to PBD, the PBD podcast, Valuetainment, a big fan of all their shows on their channel. And I was kind of taking a look at the podcast earlier, and he had kind of, essentially announced that they're coming out with a show called Her Take, where again, The View, they're more so kind of democratic, ladies that kind of talk about current events and pop culture and things like that. And it seems like Valuetainment and kind of what his business has is Her Take that is going to rival The View. So I'm going to kind of pull up and kind of give you a showcase of what Her Take is. Then more importantly, I do want to talk about, bring it back on myself here really quickly, maybe Her Take, the name of it, whether or not they may get in some trouble based on what's out there from a trademark perspective. Again, we like to talk everything IP, hence the name of the channel. And it looks like they kind of may find themselves in hot water where they may have to do a name change here at some point. But again, I'll leave that here for after the video. And I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section. As I'm pulling up this, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit the subscribe button to be a part of the IP community. And again, go check out the ebook that I just dropped recently. It's in the description. Not going to talk too much about it, but go check that out. Let me pull it up here really quickly and let's get to it. This is an interesting one. Let's go. In fact, let me kind of put it back a little bit.
Lindy Lee, Anna Kasparian,
wow,
Amy Dangerfield.
What a lineup.
And we had Elizabeth Pipko here. And wait till you hear who else is going to be on the show here soon. The show is called Her Take, and I want you to get a glimpse of what this is going to look like. Go ahead, Rob.
Welcome to Her Take, where real conversation happens.
Let me just take a step back and ask a broader question. I'm actually with Trump on this. It's one of the reasons why I left the Democratic Party.
Let's talk about the mistake, though. Lindy, let's talk about the mistake for a second, okay? He had a legitimate asylum claim.
Intersex, pansexual, true spirit. What the heck is a true spirit?
Give it to me in English and then dumb it down to 6th grade level.
I wake up in the morning and I have no spirit, so I'm kind of are they really marginalized?
Can I borrow
like,
please?
I will be the first one to say that birth control destroyed my life.
The goal is to create lifelong medical patients because that is passive residual income for them every week, every month till the end of that person's life.
You've got real conversations that happen here. Different voices collide, clash, and sometimes even connect. There are no scripts, no echo chambers, and just smart and spirited debates. Ladies, are you ready to jump in?
Let's
ready?
do it.
There you go.
Finally.
Baby.
So again, you see it. That is the show Her Take. Looks like those ladies are killing it. Look to be a little bit more on the conservative side. Like I said, The View with Whoopi Goldberg and kind of those team that seems to be kind of more so kind of Democratic leaning or left leaning host on that show. Whereas again, Her Take is kind of more so conservative or right leaning. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that show plays out. But I guess the thing that I do want to focus on is the name. I'm always a big proponent of protecting the name, the brand before it comes out. Again, whether it's The View, whether it's Her Take, whether it's PBD podcast, whatever it is, when you start a business, you're going to be calling that business, that product something. And you definitely want to look at kind of protecting the brand, whether or protecting the IP, whether it's a patent, trademark, copyright, trade secrets. In this case, with the name of the show, Her Take, that is essentially the brand name, so that be protectable via a trademark. Let me kind of pull something up here, just kind of give you guys a little bit of idea of the importance of this, really, because you don't want to have to kind of get that cease and desist letter at some point in the future, and all of a sudden you have to kind of change the name. So this is Her Take, and actually, even before I do that, I kind of show you how important this is. So this is, let's see here. Typed in The View. I'm not sure why it's not pulling up here. I was just looking at it earlier today where The View actually has a registered trademark on the name of that show. I'm not sure why it's not pulling up here. Actually, it actually is owned by ABC. So you guys just have to take my word for it. Like I said, I did look it up earlier. I don't want to scroll through all these names for it to pull up, but they do have a registered trademark. So the show, The View, that has Whoopi Goldberg and that cast on it, does have a registered trademark. But Her Take, which is again PBD Valuetainment, their show that's coming out that I just showed you, that again, that's the name of the show. But if you look at here, you have an entertainment services, namely essentially a podcast. So when you file for a trademark, you have to let the USPTO know what class you're going to be kind of using the name in, and you're trying to protect it in. So for example, if you're selling clothing, that'll be class 25. If you are electronics, you have to kind of protect it in an electronics class. It seems like in this case, the entertainment services is class 41. And it seems like this trademark, Her Take on it, which I'm assuming is Lisa Beckett is the owner of it. Doesn't say where she's from, somewhere here in the US. Seems like she has a pending trademark on the name Her Take on it. And this becomes important because the show Her Take that I just showed you from PBD, from Valuetainment, is it a likelihood of confusion? That's the whole standard when it comes to a trademark infringement, trademark law, the likelihood of confusion. Will you be confused confused looking at Her Take that I just showed you, thinking that is Her Take on it? Again, if the answer to that is yes, then not only is it going to be trademark infringement for Valuetainment and the show Her Take, but they're not going to be able to get a registered trademark on it, and they're ultimately going to have to change their name. To the extent that the answer to the question is, is it confusingly similar? If the answer to that question is no, then they can probably get a trademark on Her Take and still use it, and all is good in the world. In my opinion, this is a little close. I would love to hear from you guys. Do you think that PBD Valuetainment is going to get essentially a cease and desist letter from Lisa Boycott for her pending trademark Her Take on it, to the extent that I would imagine that Lisa, she's going to ultimately get a trademark on the phrase Her Take on it. And to the extent that she does get that trademark on it, do you think she will send that cease and desist letter to Valuetainment in the show Her Take and make them change the name? This is why I'm a big proponent of doing these searches ahead of time and making sure nobody is protecting your name. Because if somebody is protecting your name, or somebody already has that kind of your brand name, that logo protected via a trademark, then at some point they're going to send you a cease and desist letter and you got to change it anyway. And we just talked about, actually, Buc-ee's did this, where you had a gas station called Ducky's. You had another gas station called Barcy's, and we all know the super gas station Buc-ee's. They literally made Barcy's close down because they sued them for trademark infringement. And then it seems like they also sued Ducky's, and they're kind of maybe settling from kind of the last I heard of that one. So again, this stuff is important, and these companies will sue you, or the people who have these registered trademarks will sue you for trademark infringement and force you to change your name if you are, if you have a confusingly similar name. So that's my thoughts on it. It seems like Valuetainment and the show Her Take kind of maybe in some deep water. I would love to hear you guys' comments in the comment section. As always, please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Hit the subscribe button to be a part of the IP community, where we talk everything intellectual property. And last but not least, go check out that ebook, Got IP, where, again, from step one of kind of finding an ideal and all the way up to monetizing it, we're taking you through each step of the process. I talk heavily about intellectual property in that book, copyrights, trademark, trade secrets, as well as patents. And again, I've interviewed a lot of the Shark Tank guests on a podcast. So, and I'm interweaving that book with those Shark Tank stories. So again, the ebook is definitely informative, and if that thing has been flying off the shelves, people have been purchasing the ebook. So definitely go check that out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.